The first sign wasn't the clock. Not really. It was the barley. My great-aunt Martha, bless her soul, had grown it in her tiny patch since before I learned to walk this year, though the stalks were just off-stretchy, almost translucent, and blooming prematurely. A fool would call it global warming, maybe a sign of those wacky weather patterns the city folks down south were always talking about. But I'm Daniel Hayes, watchmaker of Redwood Creek, where time ticks a little slower, a little truer, and I knew something was fundamentally wrong. I felt it in the rhythm of my own workshop, my grandfather's old grandfather clock, the one that kept time for generations, began to hesitate. The chime, usually a comforting melody, stuttered and dragged, like an old dog struggling to keep up with a youthful pack. Likely just a tick misaligned, I muttered, checking the pendulum. But my fingers moved with a restless urgency, as if the clock itself was warning me of something. Sarah, that bright city girl who'd come to Redwood Creek seeking peace, chuckled as she walked by, her tablet glinting in the afternoon sun. "You're letting your imagination run wild, Daniel. It's just an old clock," she said with a gentle smile. I knew her skepticism stemmed from a good place. A scientist, she relied on evidence, numbers, quantifiable proof. My world was measured in the subtle ticks and tocks, the sunrise over the valley, the creak of an old house settling. Then, one late night, while tinkering with a cryptic astronomy book passed down from my father, a realization hit me like a bolt of lightning. The constellation charts, the handwritten notes, they all pointed towards something inexplicable. A celestial dance disrupted, a gravitational anomaly. This wasn't just a rogue clock. I showed Sarah the calculations, the crude diagrams. My face flushed with both fear and exhilaration. She listened patiently, a frown creasing her brow. "Daniel, there's no earthly reason why," she started, but I held up my hand. "Don't tell me there's no reason. It's there, Sarah. I can feel it. The Earth, it's slowing down." She ran her own analysis on my data, her skeptical eyes widening with each passing hour. The evidence was undeniable. Days were getting longer, not by fractions of a second, but by whole minutes, each sunrise a moment of encroaching dread. "The cause, it's not a black hole, not a comet," I murmured, staring at the constellation she had drawn on the wall. "It's something else." Terror gripped Redwood Creek as news trickled in from the outside world. Cities were collapsing, economies crumbling, governments in chaos. The air grew thick with confusion and fear. We, separated from the technological pulse of the world by the choices we'd made, found solace in the familiar rhythm of our valley, but the shadow of the unknown loomed large. Then, a picture emerged on Sarah's salvaged satellite dish, a pale ethereal glow emanating from deep space. Not a star, not a satellite, but something vast, indefinable, a lens. And it shone with an unnatural light, a siren call that seemed to tug at the fabric of reality itself. "It's not just slowing us down, Daniel," Sarah whispered, her voice tight with terror. "It's drawing us in." I knew what that meant. The Earth, our home, our refuge, wasn't dying a slow, predictable death. We were being consumed, drawn into the maw of something ancient, something beyond comprehension. A cosmic predator with a light so hypnotic, so alluring, it wouldn't allow us to fight. And as the lens grew brighter, as the sky bled into an impossible violet, I thought of my ancestors, those who had forged their lives in this valley. Their legacy wouldn't be a triumphant stand against oblivion. It would be their last day, a silent, graceful surrender to a celestial dance, and we, the inheritors of their wisdom, would be the final audience.